Hi there, everybody. These are the homework notes for Level 4, List M5. I think that our phonogram review we've done before, except for the Candyland, which I need to make a note to email you guys those cards. If you have a Level 2 student, then we talked about Candyland last week. If you don't, I made little Candyland cards that you can play with your students as a review. And so if there is a yellow card, for example, it has a-ah on it, it makes, or the a-ah is in yellow, a-ah makes 3 sounds, so you would hop forward 3 yellow spaces if you can say that phonogram. So that's for our day 3, if that interests you. For our review activities, actually let's go back to chart additions. B5 and B6 for day 1 are our words, so you're just going to say the word, see if they remember which is used in that word. Remember, we write in spellables. We write in syllables. It's been a long day. We write in syllables and we underline our ers in red because we're paying attention there, but we also mark all of our other things in our regular pencil. So with the word enter, for example, they would underline the of her in red after they've written it in the appropriate column. B10 is our eavesdropping page. So we have reviewed that silent final E words commonly lose the need for E when adding a vowel suffix. And so on this page we have our base word column, then we have our eavesdropping column, then we have our keep our E column. And so with drive, for example, I said I because of the E, and that is a base word for driven. So sometimes the kiddos can fight you a little bit because they don't want to write extra words, especially on this page or our Wise Exchange page where they have to write a base word and then they have to write their derivative for it, which is the one they're actually responsible for the week. But teach them the word drive. I said I because of the E, and we marked that in red because that's our silent final E. And then we added the suffix N, which is a vowel suffix because it starts with E. And so they have to drop the E. So that's going to go in the second column. And when you look at your lesson plan, the way that that's indicated right here, so we have drive to driven. This one vertical line means this is column 1, this is column 2. When we get to the next one, which is, hold on, let me see, can't read backwards. Rare is our base word, so we have to learn to write that really quickly. Silent final E. So we have one, so this is our base word column. This would be our eavesdropping column, but we don't drop the E on rarely because we added a consonant suffix instead. So when you see that vertical line dash vertical line, that means we're skipping a column in the middle there. For review activities for our day 1, I don't have in there read the log, but I am telling you now, have them read their log before they do a major activity. And the way that we do that, just as a reminder, is we think to spell, then think to say. So if we look at the beginning of the list, we see the word almost, and we think almost. So when we approach the page, what we want the kiddos to do, if they can remember, is to think almost, almost. Now they've only encountered these words one time in our SWR way on their day 1 review, only on dictation day. So if they don't remember, that's okay. Just gently, as much as you're able, try to work on that with them. So we can call attention to the marking. If they want to say almost, say, wait a second, why is there a 3 over that a-ah? It's because it's saying its third sound. So we have almost. We have another rule in there, the I and O may say I and O before 2 consonants. So if you have a moment to remind yourself using the markings and everything, to how to help them think to spell those words, that would be great. And doing that reading through helps just prepare their mind for the rest of the review activities that they might have for that day. And we have several 1-syllable words on M5. And so the difference between think to spell, think to say for 1 and 2-syllable words is with a 1-syllable word, we say every phonogram in our think to spell way, and then we say how we think to say it. So if we take the word born, for example, we think b or n, but we say born. When we have a 2-syllable word like again, we think again, and we say again. So if we need to back up and give an extra reminder of n, again, we can, but we try to keep it as smooth as possible with 1-syllable words saying every phonogram for think to spell, then saying the word. For our 2 and 3 and 4, sometimes we have 5 and 6-syllable words, we say the syllables and then think to say. And so for your review activity that's actually on your list that day, you're going to dictate your M5 words to paper or dry erase or salt box or on the window, whatever works for you. If you are familiar with SWR and you've done the review words, again, you're going to add those to your dictation. And when I say dictation, again, that's just saying the word also. Can they write the word also and say it as they write it? So you dictate those words to paper, and then we want to introduce them or remind them of the idea of adverbs. On page 95 of the WISE Guide, which is the brown book, there is an explanation of what an adverb is. For us CC folks, we also, in our CC memory work and in our essentials, work on the definition of an adverb. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb and answers the questions how, when, where, why, how much, how often, to what extent, and under what conditions. And can we identify the adverbs that we have in this list? And so after we've written the words, we just go back and see if we can identify the adverbs. Almost, again, also, daily, and rarely. And then for their sentence activity for that day, can they write sentences using those adverbs? So if we want to use the words from our list here, we would say perhaps, I enter daily. I enter what daily? I enter the room daily. Then for day 2, for B38, for our chart additions, again, I'm skipping over the phonogram review activity because we know how to do that. B38 is where we collect our homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same but have a different meaning. And so we have the word so, like we learned this week for sow seed. We also have the word so as in the preposition or the conjunction, so, which we haven't learned yet, but that's a pretty quick little word to teach, just o with a-o-u, o-z-o at the end of a syllable. And then we have so, which we learned as sue a few weeks ago. So we would just write those all next to each other. B21 is a contractions page. Just forget that for now. So your review activity for day 2 is you can dictate the words to cards, so just to have them practicing writing out those words again, or you can choose the crossword activity. Now this one needs a little bit of explanation. On page 158 of the blue book, which is this one, it has a page that is a blank template for the M5 words. Now on page 157, it has a way that you can, if you choose to, get the words that are supposed to go in there, your crossword clues, if you want to say it, but it requires looking up 20 Bible verses, and I don't have time for that, and I don't think you have time for that. So the way we modify this in our house is I open it up to 158, and I see the order that the words are supposed to go in, and I give them verbal crossword clues. So if we look at one down, it's the word collect. So I'll say, what we do when we get all of our stuff ready for CC, and they'll say, oh, collect. Perfect. So then they just write it vertically. Then we have number 2 across. The word is enter. So what I'm going to say to the kiddo is another way to say go into something. And they would say enter. So then they would write enter going across. That requires a little bit of thinking on your feet, but I think it's a lot easier than looking up 20 Bible verses. And then so your sentences for that day, I would just make them original. And as you guys know, I'm going through the process of editing my lesson plans as I'm giving them to you. And it says copy 2 sentences from the crossword clues worksheet, which would have been that Bible verse looking up page, but just have them make their own sentences. And then for your test, including your review words that you've already encountered with M1 through M4. We're on list M5 this week. So seeing how many of those they can get, bringing back ones that you've also continued to work on. And again, just really trying to be as encouraging as possible. And if they're getting stuck on a word, just say, do the best you can, and then you can go back and go over it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I think that's all I have for now. Bye.